This is American History Day 7. This is 7B. We talked about Puritans wanting to purify. There was a place in Scrooby, England, where some of them had originated, and there was a dispute in that area wondering who should be admitted to church membership. Note number 4 is that separatists wanted to break from the Church of England. They didn't feel that the saints should sit with the damned. They wanted to be separate and keep the church pure. I guess it was a little bit of judging the neighbor, but it might have been. King James harassed Puritans out of England. They defied him as their spiritual leader, and he feared that they would then also defy him as their political leader. So he harassed them to try to get them to do that. Now, he himself did try to live as a Christian man. He helped to fund an English translation of God's words. That's pretty cool. And this is a quote. The Puritans could not long continue in any peaceable condition. They were hunted and persecuted on every side. Some were taken and clapped up in prison. Others had their houses beset and watched night and day, and hardly escaped their hands. And ye most were fain to fly and leave their houses and habitations and the means of their livelihood. So they really felt that they could not live there anymore. B, let's talk about the Pilgrims at Plymouth. This is where a lot of us began studying American history in elementary school, is about the Pilgrims. And of course, we've already covered a lot of other ground in this class, but some of this should be a little bit familiar. The big picture in this section is that the New World offered Puritans a place to practice religion freely, but also with the possibility of generating wealth by actually making some land and a settlement for themselves. So those were different motivations potentially, although they officially spurned trappings of wealth. Note number 1 is that separatists left England for Holland at first. So they didn't first try to go all across the ocean. And you think about some Holland, and the Puritans feared that their children would be corrupted by Dutch culture. They wanted a place to freely worship as English Puritans. Note number 3 is that the Virginia Company funded a 65-day voyage to America for the Puritans aboard the Mayflower. Miraculously, on this voyage, only one life was lost, and there was one baby who was born. The 4th note to write down about the Puritans and the Pilgrims is that in 1620, the year 1620, the Pilgrims came over. You may have heard that verse for American history. They arrived in New England, and they established Plymouth. They wanted to be far from Virginia. So they were kind of working in this region up here. Note number 5 is that they signed the Mayflower Compact, and this relied on the principle of majority rule. Note number 6 is the Mayflower Compact was not a constitution, but it was a model for later ones. And let's take a look at the Mayflower Compact. We may talk about this some more after lecture today. In the name of God, amen. We whole names are underwritten, the loyal subjects of our dread sovereign, Lord King James, by ye grace of God, of Great Britain, France, and Ireland, King, defender of ye faith, etc., having undertaken for ye glory of God and advancement of ye Christian faith, and honor of our king and country, a voyage to plant ye first colony in ye northern parts of Virginia, do by these presents solemnly and mutually in ye presence of God and of one another, covenant and combine ourselves together into a civil body politic for our better ordering and preservation and furtherance of ye end aforesaid, and by virtue hereof to enact, constitute, and frame such just and equal laws, ordinances, acts, constitutions, and offices from time to time,